Most weeks I meet people who say they'd really like to write a book, but they don't have enough time and they have no idea where to start. The reluctance makes sense. Writing a book is a huge task and it seldom is obvious quite where to start. My name is Pete Moore and I'd like to show you how some structured thinking can make starting simple and also finishing a possibility. These are 3 books that I've written. They're slightly different thicknesses, they look different in format, but actually they're all 80,000 words. The difference is because they're printed on different thickness of paper and use a different font size. Now 80,000 words is a really normal word length for your classic mid-range paperback book. So let me show you how I map 80,000 words. Let's do some really simple maths. If we divide these, say, between 10 chapters, we'll get 8,000 words in each chapter. Writing is then broken down into chunks called paragraphs. 150 words per paragraph is quite normal, so that gives us around 50 paragraphs in each chapter. These paragraphs are clumped under subheadings, often something like 5 paragraphs per subheading. So we have 10 subheadings. If we have 3 subheadings per main heading, we will then need 3 main headings. Okay, so we've got some numbers, but what can we do with them? This is where the first map comes in. It's going to look a little bit like a mind map, but I prefer to call it a step tree. You see, with a classic mind map, you let the structure evolve as your ideas develop. With a step tree, you map out the preferred structure and use this structure to pull in appropriate information. Books work well in terms of their ease to write, read and even sell if they have one core idea. We could call it the message. It's printed in the centre in a box. That box needs to be big enough for 10-20 words. Now, we worked on the basis that this book was going to have 10 chapters. So let's have 10 radiating lines coming out, 1 for each chapter. And on the end of these lines we'll put a box. That box is going to contain the core idea in that individual chapter. Now these link because each of these chapters goes some way to supporting, defending, explaining the core idea. We need a second level of narrative though, because as you read through the book you're expecting to find a sequence where one chapter is leading to the next and to the next. Now this plan works for a simple book where one chapter follows the next and so on through to the end of the book. But some books are more complex with chapters clustered into sections. Let's draw out that option. It's really quick. Soon you could have 2, 3, 4 more alternatives. Leave them on your office wall for a few days and see which option you begin to prefer. Invite trusted colleagues or friends to give you their thoughts. Once you begin to feel comfortable with one option, you're ready to start planning the individual chapters. Remember our numbers. Each chapter will have a core idea and something like 3 main headings, each with 3 subheadings, each with something like 5 paragraphs. Place individual words or phrases. Again, leave them on your walls for a week or so, adding to them, editing them. When you walk past, have a glance, see if it triggers a thought. You'll soon be able to see which parts you know well and which parts need more research. 2 or 3 weeks using something like half an hour a day, maybe a bit more, you could make huge progress. When the plans are getting full, copy the ideas to Word and you're ready to start writing. A final piece of maths. If your average paragraph length is 150 words, 80,000 words for a book will have just over 500 paragraphs. If you wrote 5 paragraphs a day for 100 days, that's 20 weeks, the first draft's finished. I mean, you could do 10 paragraphs a day and get there in 50 days. It's not magic, and it will demand determination. But it is entirely possible.